I just watched the first episode of KonoSuba, and man am I confused. Let me explain. So pretty much I found this anime because I was randomly looking for things, and this seemed kind of interesting. I hadn't watched an anime like this before, kind of the whole new kind of life in like a game sort of thing, because I never really liked the formula. I've watched like a little bit of Sword Art, a little bit of Log Horizon, among other things, Dot Hack, I think, and none of them got me. Like I didn't keep watching after a few episodes, but nothing's hit me like KonoSuba has, and I'm trying to explain it and trying to like understand what makes it so intriguing. So the episode starts out with the main character. I can't remember his name right now, but he saves a girl from dying, or what I thought was him saving a girl from dying. He's the type of like main character, like shut in, like, oh, he's so alone, so solo, whatever, and he's gonna get a new game, but then he saves a girl, like, oh, the strapping young hero he is, and he saves her and gets taken to what's essentially, I guess, like the world between worlds kind of thing, like the afterlife, but not really. Like I forget what it's called. It's like a place between life and death, kind of that idea in fiction or whatever. Anywho, let's just say he's in the afterlife. He's in the afterlife, and he meets a goddess named Aqua. So, right, it seems pretty normal right now. But what got me at first was everything seemed so normal up to now. Like, he saves this girl, he dies. All right, he's gonna go into a new world. Like, look at the stupid face he's making when he finds out she's okay. The stupid main character face, like, oh, thank goodness he's okay. I'm such an amazing hero. I do everything, whatever. But then Aqua tells him, yeah, no, you didn't get run over. You died from shock. And then it's just like, oh, okay. And then it finds out, like, yeah, he died from shock, and then the guy pees his pants, and then gets taken to the hospital, and has a heart attack while the doctors are laughing at him, and it's like, family's laughing at him over the fact that how he died, and it's just like, what's going on? I am so confused. But I'm not disinterested, and that's the important thing, that this is still interesting to me. Like, I'm still watching, I'm just like, where are they going with this? So I keep watching, and things get back on the normal path. Things stop being weird, and Aqua's just like, alright, since you died young, I'll give you a couple options. You can either restart life, you can go to this heaven place, and she's just like, she's playing it up so that everything else seems kind of boring, like starting a new life is boring and going to the heaven place is boring. So she offers a third option, which is going to like this alternate fantasy world, I think. I'm not completely sure of the details of like the world, but like this alternate type of fantasy world. And so she's saying that like, alright, you can go here and you can take one item of your choosing to go there to help you along in your journey. Just kind of really playing it up like, oh yeah, this is gonna be awesome. This is exactly what you want as a type of like shut-in gamer, otaku kind of kid. So it's like, and obviously he's gonna do it. So that's besides the point. And then it gets weird again, because while he's deciding like, oh man, what do I want to choose, looking at all these papers or whatever, the girl like goes over and sits down to start eating some dang potato chips. I'm like, what? She's just sitting there like eating potato chips, and I'm just like it wasn't like burst out laughing, but I'm like, what? Like it's kind of like, it's like a whole, this is a very serious thing going on. You're like sitting there eating potato chips, and like, first of all, let me say, the look of this is really good. Like everything looks kind of like shiny, not really shiny, but like a fresh coat of paint on everything, kind of thing. Everything looks very nice. All the characters look very nice. So yeah, she just, after she introduces this crazy world, and she has a little bit of quirks in her, like when she's explaining like, oh yeah, you'll be able to understand the language, but you might die in the process, and just kind of casually says it, and he's like, the main character's like, wait, what did you just say? And she's like, yeah, don't worry about it. So she's sitting there munching on chips while this guy's trying to decide which one item of his choosing does he want to take in this alternate world. And then I kind of, well, I first thought that when she first brought up the fact that he has to bring one thing with him, I thought he was gonna bring like his kind of collection of all like his like manga and stuff like that to like help him as like a type of instruction guide. So it's just like, oh, this is what they did in here. I'm gonna do it in the new world that I'm gonna do. So I thought that was gonna be his first choice. But then when I saw her like just sitting there with that smug grin on her face, eating dang potato chips, I'm like, oh, he's gonna take her with him. And I pretty much predicted that. That's what he does, and it works. First of all, it works, and this new goddess, whoever, comes in just like, all right, we'll grant this wish because it's within our power. So I pretty much predicted. I kind of predicted this while like he was looking at her. So just like, all right, both of them are going to this new world. So it's like, all right, that's happening. She's freaking out. Like the animations with her freaking out are great. It's like so crazy and exaggerated. Excuse me. They're so crazy and over exaggerated with her face and her eyes and everything. It's great, and it's just like, all right, where is this going? Like, I'm still invested. When I've watched like other like life in a game sort of anime, it's always just kind of like boring. But this is just like, all right, where are you going? Like, I'll follow you. I'll go with you. But then again, episode ones of those animes are usually pretty good. So I was feeling at the same time that maybe like, all right, this is just gonna be another one of those. But I kept going because like it's so kind of weird and crazy. So they end up in the world, and the main character's like pretty chill about it. He's just like, all right, cool. Seems pretty good. Seems pretty cool. There's gonna be magic in this world. I'm gonna be great. And then he's just like, he turns to the girl and like asks her like, oh, don't you have any gear for me or something? Like, we're just starting out, like, calmly. And then she just, like, rushes his neck and starts shaking him violently. And this was really great. Like, this was, like, genuinely funny. Like, she starts freaking out, that crazy animation with her eyes and everything like that again. And then it pauses. Like, the episode, like, pauses. You see a big pause screen come up. It's just, like, press start. Like a video game. And I assume that's where the commercial break happens. But like that was great. I like genuinely did a little like kind of laugh because like that was great. Just like in the middle of her freaking out, they just do that and then they go back to the normal episode. So they propose the idea. Let's go to a guild. Like, yeah, that makes sense. One of the first things you do in a new MMO is like either you follow the tutorial quests or you go to a guild. So there's no tutorial quests for whatever reason, so they just go to a guild first. And then the goddess, I think her name's Aqua. Yeah, it's Aqua. She's pretty impressed that like he knows this stuff. But I kind of suspected that he would know this stuff. He knows what to do. The world seems interesting. It's like it looks like they start in the town of Axel, I think it's called, and it looks pretty interesting. It reminds me of Attack on Titan. It looks like kind of like a walled off city inside. But this city looks definitely like more spacious. So they go into the guild hall and they meet this guy just like, what are you guys doing here? Haven't seen your faces. And then the main character just kind of explains what he's doing here for. And he's just like, alright, we're here going to take down the Devil King and his army. Oh, something I've got to mention, if they defeat the Devil King and his army, Goddess Aqua gets to go back to where she was. So that's kind of like the goal. And so like, so back on track. So the big tough guy's just like, alright, welcome to like the gates of hell. You can sign up over there. Like that was like nice. Like that like felt like how like a game would start kind of thing. Like one of the first guys you meet is like kind of super nice, but like he seemed intimidating first. I thought he was gonna be like really intimidating, like a kind of like, all right, get out of here, you guys are newbies or whatever, like we don't care about your kind. But like he was just like, all right, man, you're in for the wild ride. Go sign up over there. Like that was really cool. Like I like watching this, I just feel good. It's just like it feels super inviting. After that, main character and Aqua are like bickering with each other, and they go up to the recipient. Find they don't have any cash, so they're bummed out. And then Aqua begs this guy, saying that like, oh, if you're a follower of me, I'm a goddess of this church or whatever. Like I think Axis. So he said, if you're a follower of me, please let me some money so I can join, so I can be part of this guild or whatever. And the guy says, oh no, I'm not a follower of you, I'm a follower of your subordinate, actually, Eris, I think. So he's just like, but I'll lend you some money anyway, because I'm a nice guy. So like, first off, let me just say that that is just like, what, like 10 minutes in? Like 10 minutes in, the main female character has done something. Like, what? When does the main female character do things in the first episode? Like, that blew me away. It's like, oh, she actually did something. Because the main character throughout, once they get to the world, he's just like, wow, she's so useless. And it's just like, yeah, she kind of is. She's just like kind of a goddess, and you think she would have so much power, but she's not doing anything. She's mainly just freaking out and complaining. But yeah, she lets them, by begging this guy, that guy being nice, she ends up getting them the money so they can become like actual players. And next sequence is super cool, especially with the animation. They're essentially getting their stats, and like they have to pick the class they want. Like, this scene is super cool, and it's just like, yeah, this is a game. Like, I could see this like being a game. It's pretty cool because, well, usually when you start games, you start off like with like barely any stats, and everybody starts out the same. But this is kind of cool because like it scans you, and she's like, and it sees this like, all right, you'll be good in this. You have these stats. Main character has super high luck and really high intelligence, but pretty meager everything else. And Aqua is the opposite of that. She has horrible intelligence and the lowest luck possible. The rest of her stats are sky high. So already that has kind of like a different, like, they're kind of the opposites of each other, but we're still working together. So I thought that was pretty cool. So yeah, so he has pretty average stats but super high luck. But he starts off as the worst job ever, which is adventurer. And Aqua gets one of the best jobs ever, which is arc priest. And it's just like, alright, that's interesting. So it's just like, oh, the main character is not as powerful as this female side character. It's kind of going to her head. It's just like, you can kind of see what kind of character she's kind of having. So that's interesting. But it's still kind of normal. We haven't gone super weird yet, but we're getting there. So the whole sequence where they're like figuring out their stats is super cool. One of my favorite, and I think one of the best scenes in this part is with the machine going and writing on the paper. It's super cool. Anywho, what happens after that is super hilarious because it's just like, alright, we got our stats. We're ready to go into this crazy new world. And like, what do? They get like side construction jobs and sleep in a dang barn. Like, what? That's pretty hilarious. And like, yeah, I kind of get that. That kind of reminds me of like Persona 4 or something like that, where the main character can like take some side jobs after he finds like the TV world. It's just like, oh, he can take like side jobs to increase his like courage, intelligence, and get some money. And it's just like, yeah, I could see this being like the logical first thing you do in a game. It's like doing these side jobs before you go to actual quests. Like the first couple quests and tutorials are just like usually just fetch quests for people. So it's like, I can understand that, and at the same time, like, it's such a nice sequence because you got these rough and tough like guys, construction workers, working with the main character in Aqua, and like it's just this crazy montage of them like working hard, eating like decent food, sleeping in the barn, making the barn a bit better, putting a sheet on it, and then just like working, getting ready, getting washed, drinking some whatever milk, I guess, I don't know. But it's just so nice to just watch, and it's just like yeah, they're doing things, like they're like working these side jobs, getting a couple bucks on the side, and just like they're making most of their life. They're working from the bottom to the top, and then like there's this one scene where all the tough construction worker guys go up to him, look so intimidating, and they start dancing with each other, and it's just like, man, I just feel good. Like all this camaraderie, and like everybody's like dancing and like moving along, or you're eating food, and like it just feels nice. You know what I hate about like those like life in a game animes? It's always just like, oh, you die in the game, you die in real life. This kind of like life or death situation. Everything is so serious. Everything is so like dangerous. You never get a sense of wonder or enjoyment of the world you're in. And in this just feels so warm and nice. And it's just like, this is a pretty decent place to go. Like in those other like anime game thing, whatever, like Sword Art, Log Horizon, Dot Hack, just like, this is a terrible place to be, and why would you ever be here? We need to get out. Like KonoSuba shares this in the fact that they want to get out, but they want to get out because Aqua wants to get out because she's a goddess and she wants to get her job back. And the other one's just like, we need to get out to survive. But now it's like, I want to get out because I want to get my position back. So it kind of creates more of a lighthearted thing, and everything's more enjoyable. You don't feel like the stress of the world. It's more like, oh yeah, we're doing the best of what we can with this world. And that's what I really like, and that's what really kept me going, honestly, in this episode. So like, and then another funny part is during the montage, Aqua will randomly just start throwing up what I assume is alcohol, but it's the fact that it's just rainbows and happens so sporadically, and the main character is helping her, like cutting her back. It's like, all right, like that was hilarious. I just popped on screen and I chuckled because like the timing in this is pretty good. Like that scene where the screen pauses and the screen where Aqua's vomiting, both of those were timed great. Came out of nowhere and then left as soon as it came. Like it was so fast, so quick, so funny, and it's just enjoyable. So the main character realizes, wait a second, we're in a stagnating job. We need to defeat the Demon King. We can't do that by like taking side jobs. We need to fight like actual monsters and stuff. And then Aqua's like, yeah, you're right. Like, it took them this long to realize this, really? But at the same time, I can see that because you get just so caught up in like doing things, because they're doing things, they're earning money, and they're doing very well. So it's easy to get caught up in that and forget like, oh yeah, we have a job to do. We need to defeat this ultimate evil, and it's like defeat ultimate evil or earn decent living, like just kind of working construction jobs. I mean, it's kind of decent. They live in a stable. But anywho, the next episode, they plan to like take on an actual quest and defeat real monsters. But it's so weird. And it's so interesting. Because at the end of the episode, they have this whole talk that like, let's go take on an actual quest. And Aqua and the main character are talking to each other. I really wish I knew the main character's name. I completely forgot it. I apologize for that. But they had this conversation just like, let's take on the quest tomorrow. And he's just like, we don't have any gear. Like, how are we going to do it? And she's just like, I'll carry you. I got a top tier class. Like, puts her fist up in the air. It's like, we got this. And that scene was just like so nice. Like, you can feel a genuine camaraderie between these two. Not like a loving relationship, not like a love interest kind of thing. Like a karamur, like a cooperation. Like these guys are partners. They're working together to get through this world. They're stuck in the same place in the same position. Like Aqua stops blaming the main character for actually putting her in. Okay, I need to search up the main character's name because I can't be talking about this guy and like not knowing his name. Kazuma. Okay, his name is Kazuma. Man, how did I forget that? Anywho, Kazuma. So. Alright, so that was the episode. Really good. I liked it. Well, I don't know. Maybe. Because this is the confusing part. Aqua never stagnates, and that's what I was kind of worried in this. That she would just keep blaming Kazuma over and over again and annoying him. So then she would be actually useless. But, no, she did a deep, like... I'm only saying this because so many other animes have female characters where they don't do anything and they just rely on the main character. But Aqua does a decent amount. In this episode alone, she's the one that helps them start the guild, get their stats and their classes and everything like that, and she helps out in the construction work. They do pretty much an equal amount of work, so that impresses me. And I'm just like, watching this, a couple things. I'm impressed, I'm intrigued, and I'm like happy. Like, I haven't been happy watching an anime like this in so long, and it's so strange, and I think the key is the comedy, maybe. I don't know. Anywho, hope you guys like watching this. This went on for a long while. I'm sorry about that. You can change that. Anyway, that was episode 1. I'm still confused. What about this is making me enjoy it? Like, I just want to keep watching. Like, honestly, I just want to keep watching. Because these good feelings, like, what are they? That's not good either. Alright, that's the episode. Episode 1 of KonoSuba. I am still confused. What about this is making me kind of enjoy it in the way that I am? And the fact that, like, I'm just kind of smiling or laughing or, like, intrigued by, like, what weird thing are they gonna do next? They are pulling me along with a string right now, and I don't know what it is. That is the confusing part. How is it getting me when other things like Sword Art did not get me, Log Horizon didn't get me, Dot Hack didn't get me? None of those. I don't even think I went up to episode 5. But with this one, I'm interested already in episode 1. It's just like, where the heck are they gonna go? Anywho, that was episode 1 of the series. I hope to do more of it. And hope you guys enjoyed. Keep watching. Leave a comment. Tell me if you watched this. What did you think about episode 1 if you watched it? Kind of give me, like, maybe tell me, like, what I'm in store for, if I'm going to enjoy it more. Is it more like this, like episode 1? Because I know sometimes animes stop being episode 1 after episode 1. Like, they kind of change tones, or, like, you have less effort. But am I going to enjoy more of this? Tell me in the comments. And I will catch you guys next time.